good evening, beautiful people of Abuja. It's another Sunday evening and it's 6:30 p.m. What does that signal to us? It's time for the Genius Kids Show. So welcome. I hope last week was good for you and I hope this week just kicked up fine because mine did. Welcome to our show again, and I have a lot in stock for you today. You can't believe it. We have some amazing guests, and guess what? I have a new co-host. I'm so excited. So, as usual, as always, gather everybody around you, your friends, your children, parents. This is specially for you. Today's episode is targeted at you to help you maximize the genius in your child, okay? Remember, the Genius Kids Show is the show where we explore ways to ignite the genius in our children, because on this show we believe that every child, without exception, has a genius in him or her. What are we going to be talking about today? A lot of us see some kids and we think they are dullards. You're so slow. You mean you can't just blend these words? Apple cap, as in as simple as it. What is wrong with... If this sounds like you should be sitting down right now and listening, because today we will be talking about dyslexia. It's a learning impairment, it's a learning impediment, but unlike some other very physical impediments like Down syndrome, autism, this one is not seen. It's not easy to tell, and because of this, the children who suffer from this suffer the most because nobody understands why they are the way they are. So today we'll be looking at dyslexia in children and some other related learning impediments, and how we can help these children to still maximize their potentials and become the best they can be regardless of that challenge. Are you already excited? You should be, because I have the best people here with me in the studio, seasoned educators, seasoned people who are well versed in this, to talk to us on how we can help our children become the best versions of themselves. So, as usual, I am your Genius Kids host, Genevieve Duruiheoma. Children, always feel free to call me Miss Genny, okay? We are still in the Children's Day celebration. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, Children's Day is for 1 week. From Friday last week to next Friday. So enjoy! Ask anything you want of mommy and daddy, they will give it, okay? Thanks to those who joined us here in the studio yesterday. I bet you had fun. I also had fun, and we are happy you spent your Children's Day with us. So today, as I said, we'll be talking about dyslexia. But before we get into the meat of this topic, let's meet those we have here in the studio. Like I said, we have a new co-host, and I'll let him introduce himself. Hello.
Hello. Viewers in the house and listeners in the house, my name is Mr. Henry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Henry. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I am sure it's going to be an exciting ride with you.
Of course. I love to hear from kids. I love them a lot and I want to teach them.
All right.
Yeah.
So, children, we have Mr. Henry with us, and feel free to call in and say hello, okay? Now, to our guests, to our amazing guests, we have 3 guests in the studio with us today. So, we'll be letting them introduce themselves. Hello, please, let's meet you.
Yeah. Good evening, children at home. My name is Hania Badmasiu. I'm the founder of Simon Special Need Care Center in Kubwa, Abuja. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wow. Okay, before we go, you're the founder, you run a special needs center?
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, so children, you've heard that. If you don't know what special needs means, ask mommy and daddy, okay? All right, so we'll be needing... Yeah, so in your center, you have children that are dyslexic, do you?
Yes.
You do?
No, not for now.
Okay.
Yes, but we have Down syndrome.
Oh.
We have autistic children. We have cerebral person.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Wow. I'm sure that a lot of parents out there will find today's episode really helpful. So let's meet our second guest. Hello.
Hi,
Okay,
my
can we
name
meet
is
you?
Miss Naomi. I'm a teacher. I'm really happy to be here with you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Miss Naomi.
Welcome on board, Miss Naomi, and we are so happy to have you here too. Actually, it was through Miss Naomi we got to know about these amazing people.
Yeah.
It's through her. So thank you so much for making this possible,
Oh.
and thank you because I'm sure this is going to save a lot of children,
Yeah.
and this is going to help a lot of parents.
Yeah.
And we all have Miss Naomi to thank for that. Thank you.
Everyone,
Can we meet you, please?
Hello, everyone. Okay, my name is Obina Kingsley, and I'm an educational psychologist.
Wow.
Mr. Obina, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'm also the founder of Fix R.
Wow, we have an Fix R. What's Fix R? What are
Yeah.
you fixing?
Yeah, Fix R simply means Fix Reading Nigeria.
Wow.
Yes. So it's an intervention to fix all the reading challenges that we have. Thank you very much.
Fix R. Let's fix reading Nigeria. Let's fix reading. So, are we ready to fix reading today?
Definitely, we are ready.
We
are ready.
are, but before we get into fixing reading, let's go on a short break, and when we return, we'll dive straight into dyslexia and all other reading challenges we have. Thank you. Welcome back, beautiful people. Like I said, it's going to be a loaded evening, and we're talking about dyslexia, everything about dyslexia. Let's try to understand why some of our children are not quick at learning to read. While you have a 10-year-old that still doesn't understand what it means to read, that just can't comprehend as much as she tries. You know why it's important that we talk about this on this show? Remember, the Genius Kids show is just targeted at helping children be the best they can be. Every child cannot be the same. Just as our fingers are unequal, children are differently gifted. That a child is dyslexic does not mean that child is not super intelligent in another aspect. So, when you understand this, you'll be a bit more patient with your child and not go further in damaging that child. Because like we said on our previous shows when we talked about self-esteem, the words we say to our children, even as teachers, as parents, or whoever they look up to, they internalize it and subsequently become their inner minds and subsequently become their inner voice, such that when they grow up and they try to do a thing, that's your voice begins and continues to ring in their head. So what exactly are you feeding into your child? Are you telling them you're such a dunce? You're so slow, you just can't read. Am I just wasting my money? We know how very frustrating it is to manage a child who is not performing as that child ought to. But maybe today can help you take a step back, understand that child better, and help the child to become the best they can be. After all, that's what we want our children to be, right? So we'll be getting straight into the topic now. What is even dyslexia? Tell us, Mr. Obina Kingsley.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll be using easy languages.
Okay.
Yes, dyslexia is a specific learning disability when a person is not able to read, spell, and comprehend in ways that are up to his intellectual capabilities.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So at different stages, because once I was already becoming afraid when you said when the person is unable, babies can't read now.
Yes.
So it has to be at a particular level. At what age would you be expecting a child to be able to read? That if the child is not reading, then you know something may be wrong.
At age 4, a child who is age 4 should be in nursery 2. That child should understand all the sounds. He should be able to sound A to Z. And when the child is age 5, the child should be able to read and blend 2 blends, beginning blends, ending blends. He should understand vowel diagrams. He should understand that OW sounds O. He also sounds R in some words, like now. He also sounds toe in some words. So when the child who is that age, who is age 5, and that child is not able to read at least Queen Premier 1, you know that the child is behind. Yeah. We're not saying that it's actually a symptom, but these are red flags that you begin to observe.
Exactly.
For dyslexia.
So there are red flags that may make you want to look deeper and see
what the problem actually is.
Do you think dyslexia is a common disorder? Do you think? Is it common? Are there people who really can't read, or is it just that maybe it's not their time yet?
Okay, even as we talk about dyslexia, we also know that there are people that are slow learners and fast learners. But there are specific signs that we look into. That is why not everyone can actually diagnose dyslexia. It's people that are specialists, like educational psychologists and other therapists. These are people that have what it takes to diagnose and really say that a child has dyslexia. But of course, even slow children that are behind in reading, the same, for example, the same therapy or treatment that you give to dyslexic children,
can
if
help
you
them
give
pick
to
up.
you can actually help them to be able to learn how to read.
Wow, that's good to know. So, okay.
So does it mean that the parents cannot be able to identify maybe his or her child has this kind of problem?
Yeah, that's one of the major misconceptions that people have. Parents feel when a child is not able to read, or just like you rightly said, that the child is olodo, the child doesn't know anything. Some people go as far as calling the child lazy. Doing that, you're actually doing more harm to the child than good, because you're trying to build a particular kind of feeling in that child and making that child feel that he's not intelligent enough. And dyslexia is not even as a result of low intelligence. A child can be extremely intelligent. You can even have above average IQ and still be dyslexic and still have those challenges.
Are you serious?
Wow.
So it just attacks, or will I say, reflects on a specific part of the brain that deals with reading. So that doesn't affect the other intelligence parts of your brain. So you can really function optimally.
Of course.
You're very good in other things.
There are children that are
that's
good actors. They are good actors and they are dyslexic. Yeah, I don't want to go, okay. You know, of course, everyone knows James Bond, the particular first character of James Bond. We know Abraham Lincoln. I know these children might not be able to.
Wait, Abraham Lincoln?
Yeah, he had dyslexia.
Wow.
And of course,
so there is hope for many of us then.
Definitely.
Because, for example, in the US, for example, since over, should I say, 100 years ago, they already have interventions for dyslexia, and it's been helping them.
Okay.
But we don't really have all that.
When you say intervention, that suggests that something good can come out of it. That means that if you intervene, you can help that child.
Of course.
Because I have, it could be a misconception, but I've heard people say, what can you do? It's for life now. You can't help that child, so don't waste your time.
No, you can actually help the child.
But are there treatment to maybe to curtail it?
Yes, the treatments are not pathological. What I mean is, you don't take a tablet for dyslexia.
Okay,
Because when
parents
people hear treatment, they feel it's like malaria, where you just take artemether and you're good. It's not malaria.
The treatment here is the parents and the teachers, right?
Yeah, the treatment is the intervention that you give on time.
Oh, okay.
When you give it on time, it becomes more effective.
Oh, okay.
So, with adequate and timely treatment, will the child completely outgrow this?
Of course, the child cannot outgrow dyslexia, but we're trying to fix dyslexia and make it latent and make it like go out. Like people don't begin to observe. That child don't feel this feeling of inferiority. So that's just it.
Can one say it's hereditary?
Yeah. Of course, dyslexia is hereditary.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that should actually make it easier to detect if you're being truthful to yourself. Some parents are dyslexic, but they just don't want their kids to be anything they were.
Just like we said, parents don't even know
right?
that they're actually dyslexic. Yeah. So how would they tell that their children? Some of them just feel that, in those days, they don't feel that they didn't have the correct education. They didn't have the good education that they're giving to their children now. So they can't actually tell that they are dyslexic.
Okay.
So it's not really, we're not saying that dyslexia must be hereditary. There are other things that can also cause these disabilities in children. For example, births and all that.
Like, I would like to know what are the risk factors? What are those things that...
Birth challenges, accidents. Birth challenges, what you experience during birth when the parent is giving birth to that child.
Yeah, as I was reading this up,
it can actually affect the baby's brain.
I saw that a baby fell, and fell with his head, and that was when they suspect that the whole thing started. But if that is the case, that one can be passed on because it's not in the genes of that child.
Yes, no, that can be passed on.
That's an accident.
That's an accident. So it can also affect it if that particular part of the brain is affected. Can also result to it.
Okay, so basically what I've learned so far is dyslexia is the inability to read at the level you're supposed to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So now, are there other reading disabilities, or is dyslexia an encompassing disability that makes it impossible or difficult for children to read? Are there other disabilities that also impact on a child reading, or once you see a child who is unable to read, you conclude that the person is dyslexic?
There are other things that can affect a child, that can make a child not be able to read. For example, if that child has a vision problem, if the child has a vision problem, it can affect the child's reading. But we don't really categorize that because that's not related to the brain.
Yeah.
We don't really, that's just an impairment, a physical impairment of the eyes.
And as simple as it sounds, give them glasses, they'll see better. Many people do not know that some children don't see well. I had a friend growing up whom we felt that wasn't smart in our class then. So we just, and he just kind of accepted his fate. And he accepted his fate that he wasn't smart enough until, you know, we had optometry students who went around schools at the time to conduct free tests. And when they carried out this test, they saw that his eyesight was horrible. He wasn't even seeing whatever was written on the board. And after that, this boy began to do well. It was like magic.
And the eye was blinking, the eye is blinking.
Yeah. So it's important that parents pay attention. When your child tells you they can't see, it's not because they don't want. You say, hey, but you can watch TV, eh? When it comes to book, you can't see. You can watch TV. So please, let's be more attentive to our children. That can help us find out why they're unable to read. So we've seen the physical challenge, which is poor eyes and poor vision. What other learning disabilities do we encounter in children?
There are other learning disabilities. According to the International Disability Act, we have
there is such act. Wow.
Yes, that enlisted disabilities. There are things that are not actually disabilities, or challenges that are not actually disabilities.
Okay.
They're just impairment. It can just like I said, vision.
The vision, yeah.
Or there are other ones too, apart from the vision. Okay, other disabilities we have dysgraphia. We have.
What's that? When I hear graphs, I see graphs. Is it that they can't read graphs?
Okay. It's not really that they cannot read graph. It's an inability of a child to be able to understand writing and write to his own abilities. There are children that have this. In fact, I'm one of those kind of people that had these challenges, and this challenge haunted me till I grew up. I used to be a very smart person growing up, but I don't get the results that I expect that I should get. Other people beat me because they have good handwriting that teachers see and appreciate their writing. But I lost a lot of marks.
And they would have been telling you that you be a doctor. You know, when you see doctor's prescription, you can't read it. You think it's fashion. Well, so this dysgraphia manifests itself in poor writing or inability to write when you should.
Poor writing, inability to write on the line, bad writing, inability to maintain posture when writing. Some people, why their writing is actually bad is that they cannot maintain a particular posture for a long time. And after some time, they begin to go. You see someone writing the first two lines can be very, very clean and neat, but after that line, the other ones.
Computer has helped many of us these days. With computer, it won't be easy to really identify adults with these challenges. But again, this just reminds me, when we were growing up, we had writing books. Writing was a subject. It's not an appendage of English or mathematics. Writing was a subject on its own, where children, and I think that would help in detecting on time where a child has this dysgraphia.
Yes.
Yeah, so parents, I think you're already noting some important factors. You should get your children writing books and encourage their schools to teach writing. Maybe that way you can identify it.
And you know something? These children are actually trying their best to develop good writing skills, to have good writing, but they're not still getting it because it's not something that is physical. It's something that is brain related.
So you said you had it. Have you been able to manage it well?
Yeah.
No.
One of the things we do is consciousness. We try to build consciousness. Whenever I'm writing, I'm very conscious about my challenge. It's because I'm already aware of the challenge I have. So I'm very conscious whenever I'm writing. I know that after some time, I should be expecting a bad writing. But since I'm conscious, I've been working towards it, and I know I'm getting good results.
Oh,
I
okay.
can write for a longer time
Okay.
now without.
With better awareness and acceptance, I think children that are this way can actually be given other modes of examination. I think just thinking for myself, so you don't grade them on the basis of their writing and then score them low when they may even be smarter than those others in the subjects you're testing them for.
Of course.
Yeah.
How about kids that cannot be able to kind of identify colors? Because I've seen a child of 4 years who cannot identify colors.
Yes, there are also children who cannot identify colors.
Is
But
that dyslexia?
that's
Or
also a characteristic.
dyscoloria?
That's also a characteristic because most of these disorders are interwoven.
Oh, okay.
That is why
Okay.
when you're treating one, others are reinforced.
Oh.
When you're treating dyslexia, the child is also writing.
Yeah.
Because one of the challenges or one of the symptoms you get with dyslexic is that they have misplacements when writing. They misplace alphabets for other ones, like B for D, F for 7,
Wow.
N for U. So they misplace this,
B for
and
9.
we observe all this in our assessment.
Okay.
So as you're teaching a dyslexic child, building intervention for the child, you're also reinforcing dysgraphia if that child is dysgraphic too.
Yeah.
So we try to put everything together and build a holistic child.
So aside this
So there are also
dyslexia
children that
and
have
dysgraphia.
Color.
Oh, all
challenges.
right.
So
Okay.
aside dyslexia and dysgraphia, what other impediments or
Yes, we have dyscalculia.
let me try. You
Dyscalculia.
can't calculate.
Yes, it's not
So
just
you're really getting
it's not just calculated.
Mm-hmm.
Some people understand money maths. You can actually calculate your money in the
Ah!
market.
okay.
But dyscalculia is beyond just calculating money. It's understanding mathematical symbols and mathematical concepts.
Those formulas, right?
Not just
Yes.
formulas. Some people get scared when they begin to see numbers.
Mm.
They feel so depressed with numbers.
Number phobia.
They feel so depressed with
Really?
numbers. They find difficulty understanding basic concepts in maths.
But
Like-
many people, will I say many people are dyscalculia? Because many people don't like math.
Yes.
Many
Yes.
people, I don't know, is it a function of people being or maybe the right environment, the teachers, or what?
That is why
Because-
what we're concerned about is learning in children. We're not concerned about adults that have a lot of things in their mind. Even though some of these challenges grow with adults. Those children in primary schools that go to secondary schools, we don't want them to go to the next stage with this challenge. If you
Yeah.
continually expose a child to a particular kind of learning that is good for the child, you agree with me that child, even the algebra and some of the things you don't even expect that this child can do in maths, they'll begin to do them
Yes.
because
that's
they
true.
find it interesting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when they have interest, when they find fun
Yeah.
in learning, of course they achieve their goals.
True.
So some people that have these challenges of mathematics or to their adulthood,
Yeah.
it's because they were not properly, there was no proper intervention for them in the early stage.
Yeah.
That's why
There was no facility then to.
yes, my partner is going to
Yeah,
talk
it's
more
part
on
of that.
early intervention.
Okay, all right. So, are there other learning disabilities?
Of course, we have auditory processing disorder. Auditory, as the name implies, auditory means sound processing. When a child is not able to process sounds, like processing the alphabetical sounds, this is also a symptom of dyslexia.
That's
So-
why you said they're
Yeah, it's-
interwoven.
Yes, and also processing of sounds, like differentiating voice from
Yeah,
other voice.
From their mom and their teachers.
Yes,
Okay.
some children become familiar to a particular voice, and when there's another kind of voice, they find difficulty learning from the other voice. So children with ADP don't know how to really discern voice. They don't really know how to understand voice. So that's also a disorder that affects children when they're learning.
Wow. That's a lot.
Okay, then I often hear of ADHD. Is it related?
Attention deficit hyperactive disorder. Attention deficit hyperactive disorder. So they have low attention span.
Oh,
They cannot sit for a long time. We know that children
are active
are
now.
naturally
They like
normally,
to move.
normally, yeah,
hyperactive.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there are children that are excessively hyper. When the class is going on, that's when they jump on seats, they distract other people, they do things that you can't even imagine. They scream in class when the class is going on.
Yeah.
They squirm when you're trying to teach them. You give them a sitting test. We used to give sitting test where you challenge the child
Serious?
to sit for a longer period of time and you time
Yeah.
the child.
And your what mark?
Of course,
Yes,
everything is
yes.
assessed.
Okay, that could be part of the or one of the modalities you use
Yes,
in
but
diagnosing
the
it.
hyperactivity for a child with ADHD is more than what you think. If you actually meet a child with ADHD,
I don't need.
I
to
don't
be
think
told.
this radio show will go on. If that child is here.
I don't need to be told. Okay, it's been an interesting and an enlightening session. You'll
Yeah,
agree with
definitely,
me.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll go on a short break. When we return, we'll open the phone line so those at home can call in, make their contributions, ask this free consultation, ask their questions, and then we'll then get into knowing the symptoms and red flags of dyslexia, misconceptions about dyslexia, and how we can actually help the early intervention. So we'll be going on a short break. Please.
And counseling too. Counseling is
And
very important.
Counseling
Counseling
the
of parents.
Yeah. All right. So we'll be going on a short break. Please don't change the dial. This kids show on Radio Maria 91.3 FM, the voice of truth. And we are here to tell you all the truths you need to know about dyslexia and some other learning impediments in children. So far, we've had Mr. Obinna Kingsley of the Fix R tell us what dyslexia is, the other learning disabilities that are common in children. And now, let's even know what are the red flags. What should make you begin to look for consultation, begin to look for an educational psychologist to help you confirm, as a parent, what are those signs you see in children, or as a teacher, what are those signs you see in your pupils that should make you have a conversation with the parents?
Okay, the first or the basic sign that you begin to look out for is when the child does not meet the common developmental milestones, like we know. Like when the child don't begin to talk at the right age, when the child does not walk, when the child did not walk at the right time.
Okay.
That's one of it. Also, when the child is having difficulty recognizing alphabets at a very early age. And
At what age should you be concerned? Because I know in Western countries, they don't even stress about teaching alphabets at an early age.
Okay.
Yes,
But
so
in our own society, a child of 3, 4 should know the alphabets from A to Z.
not just singing it.
Not just saying and the sound. You
They
should
should be able to,
you should be
when
able
you
to
show
identify
them,
that A, this is A,
yeah.
and A sounds R. You should know that this is B. If the child has this at the tip of their fingers, blending becomes very easy for them
But that's
Okay.
if the child has been exposed to formal education.
at that age. Of
Yes,
course,
at that age. So
according
if the
to
child,
our own educational system,
yes,
at that age, a child should already be exposed to nursery school.
When you mean speak, is it making noise or speak something that someone can hear?
Of course, talk.
Oh, okay.
Of
Okay.
course, talking.
Okay, so you said not meeting the developmental milestones is a red flag. All right.
We also
Any
have
other symptoms?
Misreading, where they eventually begin to read, misreading of alphabets, and also when they're writing alphabet upside down, like U for N,
Oh, okay.
writing B for D.
Okay.
At age 6, a child should be able to differentiate between B and D
Of
comfortably.
course, yes.
I have a child who is in grade 6 and is going to just 1. I still correct him. I still correct his B for D, and this child is going to grade 1. Sometimes he misplaced the lines. He doesn't have a vision problem. These are some of the things that we see. At age 6, someone that is going to just 1 shouldn't have problem writing bad.
Yeah.
And you write dab. So
Yeah.
this-
Instead of ball, they'll write dab, or maybe they
Yes.
want to pronounce b, they'll say da, like that.
At age 5, a child should know common sight words like what,
Okay.
they, that. These are words that helps building
Okay.
reading skills, to build reading skills in the beginning. They should have these words in their mind already that
They don't have to begin decoding to understand.
they are called
them.
sight words.
Yeah.
They should know them by sight and say them by sight.
Okay.
So a child at age 5 should be able to understand
So can you determine the red flag by the behaviors at home and stuff like that?
their behaviors.
Yes.
Like I said, parents cannot adequately, but a parent should be able to tell that their child is behind. That's what a parent can do.
If you're being sincere to
If you're being
yourself.
sincere to yourself, you should be able to tell, especially when your child have been going to school, when your child is exposed to formal school.
Yeah.
It's different from bringing, for example, a child in the village that is not exposed to proper education.
Yeah.
That could be, let me see, the challenges they had in
Poor
their
foundation.
early poor foundation.
Yeah.
So,
early child.
You cannot just say that child is dyslexic or that child has, except you expose the child for a particular period of time where learning becomes sufficient for that child and that child has adapted to the system. So most people that come from the village face challenges before they begin to grasp what is being
so
taught.
that's not necessarily dyslexia on their part.
No,
that's
that's not
just
Difficulty
foundational
learning.
issue. Yeah.
So another sign also that is very important, because there are different categories of this sign, is when we go to the emotional part of what we do. Most children that have this challenge, even at that early stage, they begin to withdraw from school activities. In grade 1, if a child is having challenges, the child knows. So don't think that this child is too small to tell what he feels. The child knows that this thing is difficult for me. And if that child found someone that really understands him or her, the child feels very happy.
Yeah.
And the child feels so elated, feels so excited when he or she eventually begins to read.
Of course, nobody would like to keep indulging in something that depresses them.
Yeah,
So if they
true.
feel,
And you know,
I don't understand this, these letters are looking Greek to me, and my teacher doesn't seem to understand, my parents don't seem, I would rather just withdraw from it.
so if I meet a child with this challenge, the first thing I do, I begin to I want to make the child my friend, develop a rapport for us to be friends, where I can comfortably find out more things about the child and devise a means to help that child. The first thing we want to achieve is for that child to begin reading or start building reading skills. That's when other things
Will
come into
follow. Yeah.
So that emotional part is also very important.
So what gender is likely to have dyslexia?
Yeah, one of the misconceptions about dyslexia is that boys are more likely to be dyslexic than girls. But that's not true.
So that's it's not true.
It's a misconception.
It's not proven, right?
Boys are dyslexic as equally as girls. In fact, when you go to a later education stage, like for example in university, you discover that the system is even easier to boys than girls. I don't know if you observe learning. You understand? I don't want to really go into that part in adults.
Because
some people drop out of school because of dyslexia.
Wow.
They find difficulty adapting to a higher system of education, or a higher learning stage. And it's because there is no early intervention for them to find how they learn.
This reinforces the need why we need to intervene early.
On time. So that child can become the doctor that he wants to be. Don't say that this child doesn't have the brain to become an engineer. Don't say that this child doesn't have the brain to become a doctor. According to Jerome Brunner, you can be anything you want to be when you have the learning tools that are required.
Word.
Parents at home and people that are listening,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's quite encouraging. So in case there is any parent listening in or a child listening in, and the child feels maybe I'm not good enough, I may not be able to attain my highest potentials, Mr. Kingsley has just told us that you can be anything you want to be, provided you have the learning, the right environment and the tools needed. So how do we now help this child if we've identified, are there other red flags, or if we are done talking about the red flags, how do we help this child that has been diagnosed? You had earlier mentioned that when we see these signs, the best thing to do is to take them to a proper person that can diagnose them.
That is why I said that some people don't want to come. Like you said, they live in denial. We're trying to collaborate with some schools and also parents that contact us directly. We're also open to collaboration, because we also run IEPs. Like we don't mind fixing sessions to come to the houses of the parents. So if schools can accept and collaborate with us, one of our long-term goal is to build a dyslexia-friendly school.
Okay.
Wow.
Where
that's a good one.
Yeah, where the schools will be aware about dyslexia and also accept it and
Okay.
accept that we cannot really do this.
Mm.
These people can do this. We're going to have this part as this. We can have a fixed hour center in the school
Okay.
where we can give the
Yeah.
child.
Are there
Extra-
campaign ongoing?
Of course,
Oh, okay.
You can see what I'm wearing.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, at this point, I'll be opening the phone lines to our listeners at home so they can call in to make their contributions, ask their questions. And the number to call is 081 084 47518. I'll take that again, 081 084 47518. We are discussing dyslexia in children.
Yeah.
So call us and let us know. Have you had this challenge as a person? Do you think your child has this challenge? Has it been diagnosed? What are you doing to help? Are there fears you have? You don't want to know if really this is a red flag. This is the time to call. And then do you think as a person, do you think there are adults? Have you met any adults that is struggling with this? Now, this is the time to call and let us know. So people will know that this is as real as reality. This is as real as they. And we need to help these children to become the best they can be. Now, moving on, let's talk about, you mentioned that, okay, when the child is diagnosed and we found out that really this child has this, that all hope is not lost. We can actually help by early intervention. So let's have you, Mrs. Hania Rad. Right?
Yes, Haniat.
Okay, let's have you talk to us about early intervention.
Yes. When we are talking about early intervention, when we are talking about early intervention, we are talking about starting early, as early as 0 to 3 years, or even to 4 years. Yes, that's early intervention. Yes, where you can design an individual family program for parents at home, even before the child goes to school. Because yes, you know, in the Western world, they read to the babies even when they are in the stomach. When the baby comes out, they try to expose the baby to reading and all that. So from there, they can be maybe identifying some of the signs on the baby, you know. So like dyslexia, we said at 5 years old, if your child starts going to school, and the school administration calls you that your child cannot read or something, don't just be in a denial, or you feel like let me give my work. Yes, they are not doing their work. What am I paying for? Or let me wait, my child will outgrown it or something like that. Then you keep wasting that child's time. Maybe till when the child is 7 years old, 8 years old, you'll be running helter-skelter looking. Then you can pay anything to anybody to help your child, or you can even just accept anything from anybody
when you
that claim
with early
intervention. Yes, that is why early intervention is very, very important, and we are trying to bring this awareness to people for them to understand. Like he's saying, he has told us everything about the red flags and what it takes for us to understand, not just to know or to aware, to understand that, oh, okay, I understand this is what this person is trying to say, this is what this person is trying to do. You don't have to be in denial. You don't have to be in denial. If you help your child, the earlier you start, then the child will have a serious, significant improvement. Like I said, I have a child with Down syndrome. My child is 6 years old now. He's talking, he's writing.
Are you serious?
Yes. He's
well
talking.
done.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. He made some very important points. He noted that if you've had the opportunity to teach in a classroom, no matter for the shortness of the duration. So this just points to the fact that is rampant. It is more common than a lot of us know. So parents, teachers, teachers, you will do better service to the school and to the children if in fact you see a child is struggling, and that's why we have parents teachers conference. That's why we have open days.
Yeah.
It's not when the parents and the child's mother comes to you, your child is doing well, don't worry, they'll pick up. Yes, it's good to encourage them, but be truthful so that if that parent needs to do anything, if there is need for early intervention, they won't miss out on time. So teachers, you're like the head diagnoser here, if I may use that. You're likely going to see it first, because not all parents like have this formal educational setting with their children. They may not be able to tell. Thank you so much, Aisha. And our guest here in the studio would be speaking to us on the role of parents to dyslexic children. Let's see how we can help them.
And also the intervention that we have.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Aisha. All right. Thanks our callers, thanks our listeners at home. Your contributions have been keeping us going, and we are happy that this topic is useful to you. We are happy that you find it relevant. And please tell anybody who needs to know this, that dyslexia is real, but that's not a death sentence. It can be managed to still help that child attain their highest potentials. The number again to call is 081 084 47518. All right, Haniyat, you were telling us about early intervention. Aside this, what else can we do to help?
Aside the early intervention.
So when they come, what then? I don't think dyslexia affects the child alone. I think maybe it even burdens the parents more.
Yeah, a lot more.
Yes.
There's a call.
Okay.
Yes, because...
Okay, just a second. Let's take the call. Hello, good evening. Hello, we lost that call. Please call back. Yes. You were going to tell us something about...
Yes, that's where the role of parent comes in. You know, I always tell parents with special need that they have a great role to play in their own children's development here. Like I was saying before the other call, you know, I have a son with Down syndrome. I'm fortunate enough to give birth to him in America, where we started early intervention at the age of 2 months.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes, at 2 months he started with physiotherapy.
Okay.
2 months? Yes, 2 months, and even speech, because they will teach him how to eat and everything. And this early intervention is not just for one person, it's a combination of a doctor, speech therapy, physiotherapist, psychologist, and the parents, you know. Yes, like as I was saying, it's very, very important for parents to have this connection with their children. Like read to them, make reading a habit, and enjoying
activity.
Activity, a lot of activity. Make them watch an educative cartoons where question is asked like is it Dora? I think Dora has way of asking children, wellness.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
Number? Yes.
There's one my kids. I can't even remember the name now. They will tell you which is the tallest building. Is it the red, the green, or the blue? You see them communicating.
Exactly. Yes. We have that such cartoons that you can expose your children to early. And don't just leave. Some parents will leave their children with house help
and lesson teachers.
Yes, and lesson teacher do their
exactly
homework.
What Aisha was
do
telling
everything.
us.
Yes, exactly what Aisha is was telling us. So, you know, all this supposed to be put in place so that on time.
Okay. All right. We have a caller. Let's take the call quickly. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Please, what's your name and where are you calling from? Sorry, I didn't get your name. Can you take that again? This is...
Say Janet, right?
Okay, hi Janet. Welcome to the Genius Kids Show. Did you follow the talk on dyslexia? Thank you so much. So what contributions do you have to make? Thank you.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Network is getting in the way, but I think she was just trying to tell us she's a class teacher and she's seen some of this in some children.
interesting.
So Fix R is here to help. That is why we are here, and that
Yeah.
is why there is awareness campaign going on in this respect. So as a teacher now, your responsibility would be to give appropriate feedback to the
Yes.
parents and to the
Yes, and
school
be
authority.
truthful, yeah.
And maybe that school can then involve experts in the field to help manage those
Yeah.
children
Yeah.
who have this challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were telling us about early intervention and then counseling.
Counseling,
How does
yes.
counseling come in?
You know, it's very, very important to counsel parents with any special need, dyslexia or autistic child, anyone, because you know you have to tell them that their mental health is very, very important to them. They can't do it alone. They need help. They can't do it alone. They need help. They need professional
Especially when they
help.
see other children.
Yes, because when they see other children progressing, you know, developing with their minds, so they might feel sad and low sometimes. It's okay. It's okay to feel that way sometimes, but
We're
it's
humans.
very, very important to ask for help
Okay.
because of your mental health.
Okay.
And you know, it's also good, don't be in denial. Like the first caller mentioned, that some people will think that it's a spiritual problem. I actually have a woman who came in with the son to my center. This son couldn't see properly, but he just followed light. When he's outside, he's exposed to light. He followed the direction and everything. And I was like, we did what we could do. We assessed the child and everything, and we like, your child need, and the child is just 3 years old, you know, and it's a good age to start with this child. But we kept calling her to bring the child back. Why is she not coming? She said, they said it's a spiritual problem.
Hey.
That she went out in the night when they were doing meeting. The witches were doing their meeting, that she yes, that's what she said. That
People still do that.
yes,
these
they
days.
still
Believe
do
that.
that.
Well, I'm not here to tell you that your belief in those supernatural forces are false or unfounded. I'm here to tell you that before you conclude,
Mhm.
give them the physical
Physical
help you
help.
can.
You can.
When that does not solve it, then you go wherever you think. But parents, please,
yeah.
let's not blame everything on village people or all that. You can
Yes.
actually salvage a lot of these things.
Yes,
All right.
That's why we need to counsel them that
Even the counseling will help the parents because
yes,
it's like
that they
who
should
told
do-
us, Aisha told us, it can be frustrating that when
Yeah.
the mother, it's frustrating.
It can be very,
If
very
you
frustrating.
if just come on a homework assignment, I know how I sweat. It's not
Yes.
easy.
It's
Yeah.
not.
It's not easy. They will write one and drop pencil and look.
Mhm.
They want to test your limit.
Yeah.
So now imagine when that child is dyslexic.
Yeah.
And so parents with this children that have dyslexia, this is me saluting you and telling you you are doing well, you're
Yeah,
trying,
you're doing
but
well.
do not give up hope. There is still hope for that child.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, so let's talk about on talking about the roles of parents. You've said the parents should get involved in the child's
child's-
development.
Yeah.
Get involved with that child. It's important to get people. Not every parent is equally gifted. Not every parent has the patience to teach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah.
some of us get lesson teachers to help us, and
Yeah.
that is very fine. But do you get feedback from those
The
people?
Make
Or
reviews.
do you, or exactly? And sometimes when they teach your child and then give you the book, you yourself try to see
at it.
that thing they have said your child can do.
Yeah.
Confirm by
They
yourself
actually do
if
it.
your
Yeah.
child is able to
Yeah.
do it. There is this thing I usually do when I get my children's report card and their scripts.
You
I begin
calculate.
to ask them questions.
Okay.
The past question, the question papers have been returned. I ask them,
Yes.
let me know
If
if
they actually know
if
what's
they
the-
knew it or maybe
They help them
chorus
to write
answer.
it.
Sometimes you hear answer from Jerusalem.
Mm.
You're in Jericho, you hear, you put it, they mark it
Yeah.
for you. So
Yeah.
it's important to know why
Their strength.
they to know their strength.
Mhm.
Thank you. That's the word I've been looking for.
Yeah.
Parents, try whatever you can to know your children's
Their
strengths and
strengths,
abilities.
Give your kids more
If you
attention.
know that, then you know where help is
Yeah.
is necessary.
Yeah.
Now, tell us about this dyslexia-friendly school with Fix R.
Okay, it's just what we've been talking about. A dyslexia-friendly school is a school that is not in denial, that has accepted that there are children in our school that have challenges with learning, and but we want to do anything within our power to make sure that we help these children attain their potentials. I know for one that schools don't feel happy losing their child, especially private school. So if you don't want to lose that child, go the extra mile for that child. It's also the dyslexia friendly school also would tell the parents of the child that we're doing this, we're going beyond, we're going the extra mile to assist your child, to make sure that your child gets the best. So what we're doing is the fixed hour might not even get the credit. The school gets the credit, but they're in collaboration with fixed hour.
Yeah.
They should also tell them that we have people that are helping us. These people are experts. We're working with them now, and all we're doing is for your child. That's a different dyslexia friendly school. A school that accepts, that want to go the extra mile for their child to achieve their educational goal.
Okay. So if in case there are parents listening in and schools listening in that feel, oh, I think we need this service, how can they contact you? Where would they find you?
Yes, you can find us at A99 Brick Estate, Kubwa Expressway.
Okay.
Say that again.
A99 Brick City Estate.
Okay.
Okay.
Kubwa Expressway.
Do you have a social media handle?
Of course, we have a social media handle for Fix Hour.
Okay.
You can join us on Instagram at FixHour01 on Instagram. We also have a
01.
we also have a Facebook page at
Okay.
Fix then dash R.
Okay.
R. Okay, and also have a Twitter page at FixR2. Fix dash R.
Okay. All right.
You can visit our
You can also
website.
visit the website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. You can also visit the website. That's if you want to make further inquiries. You know, we're in collaboration with Saimam Special Needs Center.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. You
Okay,
can,
that the address you gave us is the address of Simon Special Needs Center.
Yes, but you can
so
make
A99 Brick City
yes,
Estate.
we're in collaboration, and you can make whatever inquiry you want to make for dyslexia, for the dyslexic child with the same address.
All right.
Yes,
Oh.
so we're
Thank you so very much. We can't thank you enough. There is something that rang through all the callers today. They were all grateful. They were all thankful,
Yeah,
and we
definitely.
join our voices to theirs, and our voices to the voices of the mothers that couldn't call in, the parents that couldn't call in, the
Yeah.
teachers that couldn't call
Who are
in.
listening?
We are grateful. Thank you
you.
for making our time to share your evening with us, and for this noble thing you are doing. God bless you. Bless you. Okay.
our
Thank
phone
you.
numbers. Do we?
Yeah, you can drop your phone number in case that would be an easier way to contact you.
Yeah.
So, can we have the fixed house phone number, please?
081
081
36
36
36
36
80
80
62.
62.
Yeah.
The number again is 081 36 36 8062. You can call Fix Out to
Yeah,
help you
schools can
fix
contact.
all reading problems
Yes,
in children.
yeah.
So, this is
And
where.
can I drop for Simon too?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. For the special
Yeah.
needs school,
Yeah.
special needs center, the
Yeah.
Simon's special needs center, you can contact them with this number
080
080
656
656
73
73
371.
871 080 656 73871.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Mr. Kinsley, Miss Haniata, and Miss Naomi.
Thank you
It's
for
been
calling.
Thank
a
you very
pleasure having
Thank
you.
you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, and we wish you a beautiful week ahead. And then, our dear listeners at home, dear parents, dear children, I hope today was enlightening and you found it very useful as much as we did here. Remember, you can always join us same time, same station next week for another exciting episode of the Genius Kids Show. Until then, do not forget that I love you. I'm from Mr. Henry.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
See you next week.